That is the sound of travels. That is the sound of adventure. That is the sound of fantastic voyage right here on the station that loves music, loves travels, loves life, loves it when you actually take time out of your busy schedule to rest. And that's why we come always with this travel recommendations on Fantastic Voyage. It is now 2 p.m. and you're listening to Smooth 98.1. It's the 17th of May, 2024. And my name is Oluwaseun. Last week we started a series and we told you that we'll be giving you recommendations, not just outside or somewhere in the world, but we need to start at home. Charity, they say, begins at home. So we need to explore Africa because Africa is such a beautiful continent. 54 countries. There is so much that you need to see. So that's what we've been discussing for, I guess, the past 1 week now, and we'll continue the second part of the series today. And you're welcome to join the conversation. WhatsApp line is 0809 444 0981. Again, WhatsApp line is 0809 444 0981. We're very much active on YouTube, and right now you can see my face and the face of my guest. YouTube.com/smooth921FM Lagos, and my guest makes his return. I told you we had a good time last week, really. So in case you didn't listen to the episode from last week, you can still find the replay on YouTube. But my guest is an explorer through and through. No, he's not Dora. But he loves travels. He loves taking time out of whatever is going on right here in Nigeria to explore the culture, the food, and the way of life of other people. And then he brings back the recommendations and tell you those places you need to totally go. Last week, he dropped a lot of quotes, including the one that has to do with walking with lions. And his inner Daniel came out when he walked with lions, and he felt so indomitable. Like, I can do all things, including walking with lions, including making a necklace out of pythons and snakes. And I'm not sure I have come to terms with that. Anyways, please give it up for the chief explorer at Travel with Sam Global. Hi, Sam.
Hello, Oluwaseun. Good afternoon. Hello, Lagos. Hello, Africa. Glad to be back. Let's go.
Yeah, good to have you back. What have you been exploring since last week?
So far so good. Exploring the beauty of West Africa, going all the way to Ivory Coast. Imagine doing 6 cities in 3 days by road. That is paradise. That is adventure. That is living life on the edge. And that makes you alive. That brings you, that wakes up the adrenaline that has been dormant in Lagos traffic. So for some of you who are feeling old, get on the road. There's an inner young boy inside of you. Meanwhile, yesterday was the International Day of the Boy Child. So
yeah.
This is the time for that boy in you, for that girl in you to step out on the road to enjoy what the beauty of West Africa offers.
So before you go on, I want to ask you, what is the longest road trip you've been on?
I would say from Lagos to Ghana.
Oh.
Yeah.
How many hours did that take?
We took off from Lagos around 6 a.m. and we got to Accra around 5:50 p.m. Full day.
Wow. And on the road, what did you see? What did you experience? Tell me.
The beauty of the road trip on the West African coast is the various times when you have to stop at the border, when you have to come down from the bus, when you all have to, in fact, you have to raise your hands up and then cross just one gate to the other. You're leaving Seme, you're entering Benin, you're leaving Aflao, you are entering this, So that's interesting, dramatic. Well, it's just dramatic. It's just drama. It's not necessary, you don't have to use that term. But I think the drama is also a part of the trip. And aside that, the beauty of each currencies. For those who have only spent Naira all their lives, expressing the fact that they can pay in another note entirely, and that is what they trade with, that also is very mind-blowing. And of course, I mentioned this last week as well, but you can't emphasize the beauty of the West African coast. Now, the coastal road that the Nigerian government proposes, we already have that across the West African stretch. And there's something beautiful about you just driving on the road and on that in that bus, just loving the palms, the sandy beach whiteness, the cleanliness, the breeze, the unpolluted air. Oluwaseun. Hey, my goodness. It is something you will enjoy alone, just driving across the entire street. And it's peaceful, it's quiet, it's beautiful. And also, you see people like you, people speaking other languages, you just smiling at you, people. It's therapeutic. Your mind is at rest. You're not under pressure, So really, that is how best I can summarize that road trip experience, because you are also not in a hurry to get to the destination. Because on road trips, it's not so much about where you are going or how you are going. So you just taking the deep breath and coming down to ease yourself. Some talking about the police, talking about the culture, about the people, the different. My
I
goodness,
hear
and
you.
especially
I
the
feel
food.
you.
There's something also that does to your palate. When you see that people are eating what feels strange to you, and they're like, "Can I test it? Can I taste it?" And they give it to you, and you're like, And then they tell you keep chewing. They're encouraging you. So the warmth and hospitality of the people on the coast is something which you're like, am I? Think that people like me that much? Because sometimes living in your own country, especially when you live a triangular life, could be very transactional. Everyone wants something from you. But even though you are paying for what you are getting on this road trip, people are looking beyond what they are getting from you. They are happy to be friendly because that actually is what they thrive on, that hospitality and tourism economy. So it's kind of opens up your mind to the fact that this is all what these people do with their lives, and they are happy doing it. They are contented with the little that they get from being hospitable to strangers who are driving along that coast on a daily basis. So it's really beautiful to experience.
So I want to go further in terms of the hospitality. Tell me how they receive Nigerians and Nigerian men.
Whoa. You just narrowed down to a niche now. So am I thinking what you're thinking?
Oh,
so you're talking
no.
about, assuming, so you're saying that for single ladies or for ladies generally who are, because for you to have mentioned Nigerian men, you are trying to dig up something which is also well known across the continent, and which you say it is the elephant in the room. And that is the fact that Nigerian men have an hair and an aura of boldness and confidence. So there's a way the ladies and the women around the West African coast treat Nigerian men because they believe that Nigerian men have money. Nigerian men are spenders, and Nigerian men are nurturers and carers, and they protect and provide. So there's a way they warm up to you. They do, I can assure you. And just the way they warm up to you, a Nigerian man also does not want to fall his own hand. And you don't, so the way, oh my goodness. So the smiles that they give Nigerian men are special. And also, they have also learned some basic Nigerian lingos, how far, Bawoni, did you see Bona Boy, where you're coming from? So they then drop all our major artists, and it makes you smile by default. So that kind of eases the tension, breaks the ice, and it gives you that warmth that you need across the stretch. But they're very hospitable. Yeah. And they also speak a bit of English, and also they've also learned broken English as well, even though French is the major language along that route. But of course, English is something that they are used to, and they can pick up the languages and the major words, especially if you're someone that cannot break things down to the basics. Yeah, so you'll be fine. So in summary, Nigerian men, if you are looking for love along that coast, I can assure you, you might not come back home. Yeah.
And you'll have options, I assure you. You will have options.
Correct. Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
You're listening to Fantastic Voyage on Smooth 98.1. Now, I am curious about you and your taste bud. What's the most adventurous food that you've had? Something that is totally out of your comfort zone. I mean, on
I
the
would,
street.
mm, I would say the granite soup and fufu
That's
in.
not adventurous.
Wait, I'm coming. I'm coming. Granite soup and fufu in Ghana. Now, granite soup. Ghana, Ghana has a very. While I adored their jollof the other day, that granite soup is not aesthetically pleasing. It was such that it felt like it was a ritualistic endeavor. And when they brought it in front of me, or brought it to me at the restaurant, I was like, what is this? The presentation, and they were like, Sam, this is it. This is how we enjoy our thing here. Like you might think it's not adventurous, even though I've done octopus suya in other parts of the world. I think I've also tried crocodile, I've tried snake meat, but this particular groundnut soup with fufu, the strength, the size. Oh my God, please. But really, to be honest, it wasn't that bad as in what we could show up, but it was just weird to me the way it was presented. So yeah, that is what I can say to be something very weird for me. But along the West African coast, they know that our palates, especially for Nigerians, you might not really like um, too much of chili, especially if you are not from the southwest. So they actually arrange all the ingredients. Guess what? Ingredients that you use to cook on the different parts of the table. So they're making fish chips, or if it's a rice meal, or if it's a plantain meal, they're putting chili, pepper, vegetable, onions on the table for you to mix by yourself, so that they will not overmix or undermix for you. So,
That
and
is
I
so
think that,
Ghana.
yeah, and that's very thoughtful of them. And not just Ghana, actually, even in Togo and Benin Republic, and even especially in Ivory Coast, yeah, Abidjan, Bouaké, Korogo, and all those cities along the coast, all the way to Liberia. They are very thoughtful in separating the ingredients of the food so they can mix it to your own taste.
Mm. I I don't know what I think about that, but I know one thing I am not favorably disposed towards is the amount of eggs that is consumed in Ghana, as well as onions. You see some interesting mixtures, and I'm thinking, what will be the flatulent state of your tummy? Because it will be gas from everywhere. But then they enjoy it. Egg
They
is like
do.
their favorite snack. And I just
Correct.
can't come to terms with it. And it's not just that, it's how they mix different things with it and how they just, I think one thing, if I have the ears of Ghanaian culinary artists and those who make food, I think they need to specialize or at least take extra lessons when it concerns presentation of meals, which is also justified by what you just spoke as mentioned about the granite soup or the peanut soup. I know generally peanut soup doesn't really look so aesthetically pleasing. You need to do extra by spicing it with some vegetables, whatever it is. But then when you just put it there, it looks like, I will not say it now because it will be quite gross. But I just think Ghanaians need to do better in terms of their food presentation.
Also help you appreciate the beauty of what we have back here. Because even if a Nigerian is making groundnut or peanut soup, it will be presented to you. If you look at Ogbono, Bekiri, and they're like senior brothers, they're like families, they're like family brothers or family members, like siblings of the same mother to peanut soup. But the way they present it, you're like, no, I want this. But some people actually, now guess what? In the trips that we have made across the West African coast, many people stay away from eating those food because they are scared of food poisoning just because of the presentation and nothing more. You get, so you're correct. If they can do a lot more on that, which I don't think they actually care, that will probably make more people to think
Okay.
less than twice before trying it. Yes.
All right, then we'll go on a breather. And when we come back, we will finish speaking about West African countries and then we move over to South African countries. You're listening to Fantastic Voyage on Smooth 98.1. Did we talk about Togo last week?
Yes, we did.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
And the places to explore there, yeah?
Did
I
we
don't know.
do it in details? In
I'm not sure
detail?
we did. Did we talk about Gambia?
No, we didn't. I just mentioned it in passing.
All right. Do you want to talk about Gambia?
Yeah, sure.
Gambia. What about Ivory Coast? We didn't talk about it last week. If you
Not in
want to talk
detail.
about that as well.
Okay.
I know we talked about Senegal, we talked about Niger, we talked about Ghana.
Right. Okay. Let's do it.
98.1 every Wednesday from 11 a.m. This is Uzi Quentin, aka Uzi Alice Spinner. You are listening to Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. Everybody. Love music and love life. We are Smooth 98.1 and it's Fantastic Voyage on Smooth 98.1. 16 minutes past 2 o'clock, we're talking about vacation destinations within Africa. And my guest is Sam Adeleke. He's joining me via Zoom and you can see us on YouTube. That is at Smooth 91 FM Lagos. All right, so let's quickly talk about the places to explore in Gambia and what to expect.
Gambia. Gambia is called the smiling coast of Africa, and it's such a tiny country that is stretched into Senegal. So there's a part called Senegambia, actually, and there's such an intertwined. There's a lot of history there, and from the sandy beaches along the Atlantic coastline to the trails of the Gambia National Park, it's such a beautiful experience. Now, let me tell you the places that I visited that I think that everyone should when they visit Gambia. There is this place called the Kunta Kinte Island.
Yeah.
Getting there also could be very dramatic because you need to take a ferry or enter a ferry or board a ferry rather from what's the capital again? Banjul. Yes, from Banjul and then all the way to the other island. I think it's called Banku or Baku. Oh man, how did I forget this? It was just last year I visited. So you're taking anyway a ferry from Banjul to one other island. From the island, then you take a bus or a car that you charter all the way. It's like a 3-4 hour long drive. It's so long, so far. And then you now also take, when you get to the head, they drop you and then you enter, aboard the boat to the final destination. It's such a beautiful experience, so much of history. And also, it's much more of slave trade, to be honest. The historic slave trade and how people were also able to, fight their way and escape the horrors of the slave trade. There is also the Kachikali crocodile pool, which I think everyone needs to explore. The great crocodiles in that place, and there's a lot of them. My goodness, I was there and in fact, there were eggs of crocodiles that they showed us that you could buy, or you could, or drop some money to conserve if you wanted, But really, that was also really good. The Kachikali crocodile area. Then there was a place.
Hold on. Before you leave the crocodile area, why would you want to buy the eggs of a crocodile?
There are people who call bounty hunters.
Yes,
those that so for them buying this is also like a bounty, so to speak. The egg will, after a while, of course, they will drain with the syringe, they drain out the content, and then having that egg and keeping it on their shelf in their personal library, in their personal museum, it's street credibility. It's like I have a crocodile egg, a big one. Have you? So these are things of value. This is why people travel. This is
crocodile lives matter.
Oh my God! This is why people travel to get access to these amazing things, and they come at a good price. Because people there also need the money to conserve and to also take care of the crocodiles Hundreds of them in that pool. The
Was that
next
where you
pool
had your crocodile meal?
oh no, no. So because it's also like a reserve, you are not allowed to kill crocodiles there. You know. Yeah.
Okay.
So a place, another place we should visit is the Abuko Nature Reserve in
Aproko.
Abuko, not Abuko, Abuko. That's Abuko. It's a beautiful place. Also, you do a lot of walking across the nature reserve. The highlight for me during that experience was when I got to feed the hyenas. Yes, you heard it. Hyenas. Hyenas are stronger. Lions are stronger than lions are afraid of hyenas. So their jaw is, of course, scientists record that they have the strongest jaws in the world. And I had, are you sure we can say no, no, no problem? That's am I ready to pay more? You know, so I paid like 100 times my entry fee to enter that place and to feed their hyenas. So oh my goodness, it was dramatic. So of course I was feeding them with water anyway. So they brought a bottle of water and then they were beside big hyena and small one. And feeding them was such that it was my goodness. I have the videos. Oh yeah, remembering it now is giving me chills because after I posted it, someone said, Sam, is your family aware that you went to this location? I'm like, yeah, it's not that deep now. Come on. Come on.
Like you bought a fed hyena.
Yes, live hyenas, matured hyenas. Yes, a
Why?
mother and its baby. That is the thrill. That is the ultimate experience you get when going to a nature reserve. You are not just a sightseeing individual, you are participating, you are engaging, you are one, you are one with nature. Oh my God.
I hope they
Ooh.
sell prosthetic arms there as well as
No,
part
they
of
don't.
souvenirs.
As a matter of fact, now you will not just be by yourself. So just to douse the curiosity of those who are wondering how the entire experience goes. So there is the major handler, there's also another person, and there is another person, and there is you with your camera and your body, and you're being told what to do, when to stop, when to come close, you know. So everyone is watching. So that even before they get to you, if they want to snap or something wants to happen, they will have attacked. And they're also close to the gates. So you have also mapped, but nothing can happen. You have also asked questions.
That's what you think. That's
So
what you think.
that's
Until
also what
somebody
I said the
blows
last time.
powder. I mean,
It is about it's mind though. Like I said last week, nothing will happen, especially when you tell yourself, I want to enjoy this trip. And you have also asked questions. And not just going with vibes and inshallah and hoping that things will. You have also calculated, you've done your research. What are the proximities or the probabilities rather? What is the history of this place like? You know, and you know that you'll be fine. Come on, enjoy your
okay.
life. Just
I
one.
hear you.
You live only once.
And you die once as well.
Okay, so I guess that's also the beauty of Gambia. Then, of course, you go to the Bakau fish markets, the crafts markets, then the Senegambia crafts markets, the beaches. It's Gambia is such a small but also beautiful country, and there are dusty roads and all of that. Yeah, it's yeah. I think Gambia is something that you should just take off your bucket list. It's beautiful and rusty, you know.
Okay. All right then. Gambia ticked off the bucket list for now. What about Ivory Coast?
Ivory Coast. Oh, Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. Ooh, this is such a big country and also pretty expensive.
Really?
Yes, you know, some of us call it a cool, lesser known cousin in the West African family of countries, but it will surprise you with the mix of experiences. Now, where I really liked a lot was a place called Grand Bassam. Grand Bassam is gives you it's a sleepy coastal town outside of there are two capitals. The commercial capital, which is Abidjan, naturally the main political capital, just like Abuja, which is Yamoussoukro. Grand Bassam is such a beautiful coast. And when I went there, This was just after they had a terrorist attack in that coast. And it was more like, are you sure you really want to go here? And when I visited, everything was like status quo. You never knew that something like that happened. But since then, this was like close to 10 years now, when the attack happened along the coast. It is a peaceful ever since. However, the highlight of the Ivory Coast tourist experience is the Basilica of Our Lady of Peace, which is in Yamoussoukro. It's the largest basilica in the world. It trumps that of the Vatican. I mean, it can accommodate about 120,000 people at once. And that was built by their former president, or their founding president, Oluwaseun. Is that the way it's pronounced? Yeah, Oluwaseun, yes, I remember. Oluwaseun, Houph, yeah, very interesting man. And he built that cathedral to thank God and to, like, in honor and dedication that God was able to help the country take back their independence from the colonials. It is such a mind-blowing sight. I think everyone should visit it, once in their lifetime. Pope John Paul II visited it once before he died. It's a massive space. Also, different places within the city as well. Bouaké was the venue of this last AFCON, where they played the final. Yeah, Bouaké, also very beautiful city. And then you go all the way to Korogo, the north, where there are some voodoo experiences there. And then also to the capital as well. Now, Cote d'Ivoire also hosts the African Development Bank headquarters, where Dr. Akim Adesina works. So just walking and looking at that very high skyscraper and the beautiful streets. It's a lovely country. I think you should visit. It's majorly French, but you understand some English as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it for Ivory Coast.
So I'm thinking, although we're not done with the West African countries, but so far from the exploration from Ghana to Togo to Niger to Ivory Coast and other countries, how much do you think a person should have in their pockets if they want to go to these countries? I know you just mentioned that Ivory Coast is pretty expensive.
Someone yesterday called us that he was stuck at Togo because he had found on Instagram where someone else said how to explore Nigeria to Ghana with 450K. And by the time the person got to Togo, he ran out of money. And you have to say, come back home now. If you can't go forward, come back. So to travel these days, please do not think of traveling on a budget. And when I mean budgets in the past used to be between 200K to 400K, 500K. If you want to do the entire stretch, including accommodation, including feeding from Nigeria to Benin Republic to Togo to Ghana to Ivory Coast to Liberia to Guinea-Bissau along that shore. Okay, let's not go that far. But at least after Ivory Coast is Liberia, the entire stretch, please take at least 3 million naira.
Hold on, before you scare somebody away from their dream. So let's take it a country at a time.
Okay.
You don't want to do the stretch, right? You need to learn to crawl before you start to walk. Niger, how much should you have in your pockets if you want to go there and have a swell time?
I have at least 800,000 naira.
Ghana.
Then I have like 1.2.
Togo.
Togo have like 750, 700,000 naira.
Not bad. All right, Liberia.
Liberia,
That shows nice. We've not talked about, but let's fly over Liberia for now. Let's leave it for now.
Okay. Yes, please.
Which other one? Senegal. Yeah, Senegal.
Oh, Senegal. Senegal. Senegal is becoming expensive these days, but their new president might make things better. I think you should just, for a 2-day or 3-day, for a weekend trip, have like 800,000 naira if you are doing a road trip, not flying. Because flying alone takes that money away, the flight tickets. Yeah, so I think 800,000 will give you a comfortable trip where you'll not be stranded in Senegal.
Ivory Coast?
Ivory Coast, I'm from 1 million, please.
Gambia?
Gambia, oh, my Gambia. There are lots of Airbnbs in Gambia that will be really nice. I think you should have like 650 to 800,000 for Gambia.
So just to be clear, this 650, 500, 900, it's for your back and forth trip, including your accommodation, feeding.
That's correct. Road trip and Airbnb, not a hotel, not a 3, 4, 5 star hotel. So this is like the budget of the budget of the budget. Yeah, you know when I say the poor of the poorest, or the budget of the budget of the, yeah. I think you know what I'm trying to say. A budget
Okay.
budget. Yeah.
About the accommodation, do you book it before you go there, or when you get there, you'll sort yourself out?
Oh, it's best to book it before flying. And this is some of the, or before going, this is some of the services that we provide as well. So it's best to always book because you do not want to arrive and they tell you that there is no room or there are no spaces. That's why it's best. And if you, and thankfully, some of these accommodations also accept payment on arrival. Again, so you don't have to wire your money ahead and feel like it's gone. So when you get there, once you make your booking, of course, you also get in the services of an agent where you are at rest and at peace. And you can even do it yourself, you know, through some of these online websites. But really, it's best to book ahead. Always best to book ahead.
And the final thing will be the trip around town. Do you also have to maybe use a ride-hailing app, or you also have to book ahead? Or when you get there, you can always find your way around with the transport system there?
Especially if you're on a budget, it's best when you arrive, you find your way. And thankfully, the hosts in the Airbnb accommodation where you stay or the hotel, they're always very, very helpful. Yeah, so you wake up in the morning, during breakfast. Oh, I like to go to this place. So make it sound like you are spontaneous, you know. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going that way. You want to come with me? Oh, hey, I have my friend. You know, so it's best to actually get involved with the people that are hosting you and chat with them. Because if you call ahead or if you book ahead, they will give you the standard rates for the transfers as for transportation, which will be very exorbitant. So if you are on a budget, you already know where you are going, and when you arrive, you know, on the go, you're asking someone, how can I get here? You know, so we are also monitoring how things go and looking at your app as well, which you can also use. But it's best to arrive and just take things as you go. But the more spontaneous you are, the more you get to really experience the city. If things are too planned and calculated and expected, it becomes too monotonous. It becomes too robotic. But that when you experience surprises, shocks, like, hey, I didn't expect this. Really? Why? You know, so the drama is really what makes the entire trip interesting because it has to be memorable. You have to have memories that are unexpected. That is what stays with you for a long time and makes those trips worthwhile.
Hopefully, it's the pleasant, unexpected memories because you don't want
yes, of
something
course.
else. All right, finally, what will be some tips that you will give to someone who's traveling, especially in terms of cutting down how much they spend? Because I want to assume that there might be times they might inflate things for you, especially saying that you are a tourist. Well, I don't know if they do that a lot in some countries, but I know there is a chance or the potential for someone to do that. So what are the tips you need to have for you to spend less?
Okay, I think from not I think from my experience, it's best to not make assumptions, please. Research, 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 especially if you do not want to engage the services of an agent who will help with all your planning. Ensure you plan ahead and just budget and try to convert the currency of your country to USD before leaving. If you get, if you can't do it before you leave Nigeria, try to get to the accommodation where you're staying and chat to them and just to them that please, where can I get these rates? You know, be a good person as well. You're not also looking around there talking to so many else. So be a pleasant person, be a warm person, and be someone who is trustworthy. Because this hospitality business, for example, when I was in Dakar, when I got to my accommodation, the host was like, "Do you want to pay now or after?" I said, "Oh, can I pay afterwards?" Okay, no problem. You know, even though in the course of the 3, 4, 5 days I stayed there, he discussed the fact that sometimes the Nigerians, some, not all, definitely not all, had come, had issues with payments. Then after they got back home, they promised that they will pay. You know, so please do not spoil the rep of Nigerians. You should ensure you have your money, and please don't say your card is not working. Always have cash, please. Cash is king. All right,
Thank
so
you.
that's one. I think that's really the most important. And also, please ensure you have a power bank at all times. You do not want your phone to go off, because sometimes when people are speaking, when I was going to the national park, my driver could not speak English at all. I had to use Google Translate to translate to English all along. So anytime I say, "Can you talk?" I'll type it and look at it again and keep going. So please ensure your phone is. So if you have to have two phones with two power banks, you do not want to be disconnected. And yeah, and finally, please do not stay out at night by yourself, because especially Nigerians are kind of a target. They know that we have money. You know, for a lot of people in Accra, in Benin, they see Lagos as a New York that they actually hope to come visit one day. So if you are from there, you might be a soft target. So try not to expose yourself without being accompanied by a local, which is very important.
Especially if you're female.
Especially if you're female, correct. And something that females do, if I'm going to get to a new destination, I'm not calling anybody, just go at the reception, they now speak out loud with their phone. "Hello, my husband, General, this. How is the barracks? I have now arrived." You know, so just to show that, number one, I'm not single and without cover, and also people know where I am, even though you're not talking to anyone. So being dramatic as have a way of letting people know that, okay, this person is not just flying solo, and if anything happens to them, no one will look for them. You know, so yeah, those are some of the precautions you can take.
Priceless information. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for all you shared. We continue because, again, this is a series and we have so many countries to go. And you're always welcome to join it and reach out to Sam on social media via your handles, right?
Yes. On Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, we are at Travel with Sam Global. And of course on WhatsApp as well, 0803-442-1195. Sam Adeleke, Travel with Sam will pop up anywhere on the internet. I will help you make your travel dreams come true.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sam, for being here. And next week we'll go again from 2 till 2:30 on Smooth 98.1. Now we continue the Golden Oldies on Casbah because that's what we'll do till 4 p.m. So here is Bongo's Ikwe Cockcrow at Dawn. My name is Oluwaseun. Thank you very much.